We're jumping right into a city with a story that stretches back 1,000 years. And it's a city defined not by what it lost, but by what it chose to become. This is the incredible story of Coventry, the city that absolutely refused to die.
No, really, just for a second, what's the first image that pops into your head when you hear that name?
Yeah, for a lot of us, it's one of two things, right? The legendary Lady Godiva, or the haunting image of a cathedral shell destroyed in World War II. And look, you're not wrong, but those are just two chapters in a much, much bigger book.
Because the real story is about how one place can be a medieval powerhouse, then an industrial engine, then a pile of rubble, and then somehow a global symbol of peace. It's a story of constantly, brilliantly reinventing itself.
So let's roll the clock way back, because long before the factories and the bombs, Coventry was an absolute titan of the medieval world.
Okay, so you've got the legend, but the reality is actually way more impressive. The real woman, Godgifu, was a seriously powerful and wealthy landowner in her own right. She wasn't just protesting. She and her husband basically founded the city's first-grade institution. She was a power player, a founder.
And that monastery she helped build? It kick-started everything. By the 1300s, Coventry's wool and textile trade was so massive, so wealthy, that it became the fourth most powerful city in all of England. You had London, York, Norwich, and then Coventry. Incredible.
And we're not just talking about money here. This place had serious clout. Its city walls were legendary. People said they were as strong as London's. And get this, for a little while during the Wars of the Roses, it was basically the capital of the entire country. Its motto is even the Prince's Chamber, a direct shout-out to its royal connections.
But here's the thing about Coventry, its story has always been about cycles. After that medieval boom, the city had to adapt, and it did, again and again, becoming this industrial engine for Britain.
And this is what that reinvention looks like in action. The ribbon-weaving industry collapses? Fine. The city pivots to making world-class watches. That declines? Okay, no problem. Its skilled workers will just invent the modern bicycle. Seriously, the bike design we all still use today came from here. And from bikes, it was a tiny jump to cars. The entire British motor industry was born right here.
That wild roller coaster ride just kept going. In the 1950s, it was booming. They called it Britain's Detroit. But by the 80s, the factories were closing, and the atmosphere was so bleak that the local band The Specials wrote their legendary song about it, Ghost Town. From boom to bust, over and over.
But for all those economic highs and lows, the city's greatest trial and its most profound rebirth didn't come from a factory closing. It came from the sky. And this, well, this is the real heart of Coventry's story. The Blitz on November 14, 1940, was so horrific, so total, that Nazi propaganda had to invent a new word for it, Coventrayan, to coventrate. It literally meant to wipe a city off the face of the earth. For 11 hours, hundreds of bombers tried to do just that.
And this says it all. You see the ruins, the skeleton of the old St. Michael's Cathedral? But look what they did next. They didn't tear down the ruins or try to hide the scar. They built a stunning modern cathedral right alongside it. It wasn't about erasing the past. It was about building a future right out of it.
And in that moment, just imagine, the ruins are still smoldering, the city is in shock. The head of the cathedral, Richard Howard, did something almost unimaginable. He had two words carved on the wall behind the shattered altar. Father, forgive. An unbelievable act of grace in a moment of pure hatred. And that wasn't just a sentiment, it became their mission. In 1944, while the war was still raging, Coventry twinned with Stalingrad, another city that had been completely annihilated. Later, it would twin with Dresden, a German city that suffered the exact same fate. This was forgiveness in action.
All right, so beyond these huge, epic stories of destruction and rebirth, Coventry is also just a wonderfully weird and fascinating place. Let's dig into some of its secrets.
You've heard the phrase, right? To be sent to Coventry, to be ignored or shunned, but do you have any idea where it actually comes from?
Well, it goes all the way back to those formidable city walls we were talking about. During the English Civil War, royalist prisoners were kept in the city, which was strongly parliamentarian. The locals, they just completely ignored them. They literally sent them to Coventry.
And the weirdness doesn't stop there. The city's original medieval castle? Poof! Gone.
We know it existed, we just have no idea where it was. The city's coat of arms has a mythical wildcat on it. But my personal favorite, there's a story that during the Blitz, a bomb blast blew an empty tram clean over a house, and it landed in a garden with its windows somehow still intact. You just can't make this stuff up.
So, when you put it all together, the medieval power, the industrial reinvention, the total devastation, and that radical forgiveness, you end up with one perfect symbol for this city, the Phoenix.
This really is the ultimate reinvention. The city took the worst trauma you can imagine and transformed it, not into anger, but into a global mission for peace. Today, the ministry based at the cathedral is active in over 150 countries, carrying that message of Father Forgive all around the world.
And that leaves us with one last big thought. We talk about resilience a lot, about bouncing back. But what if Coventry's story shows us something deeper? What if true resilience isn't just about surviving? What if it's the ability to take your deepest wound and transform it into your greatest gift to the world? That's a powerful idea to sit with.